So how should you ease? How could somebody ease their family into investing without overwhelming them?
We get this question a lot. My thing is, if you really want to help your family in investing and they are afraid to do so, take some of your money. That's what I did. Put it into VOO, Apple, Microsoft, give them the money. And then after that, they'll find a way to make money for you or make some money to give to you. I think too often times we want people to go through the hardships that we went through in learning. They may not have the excitement. And truth be told, a lot of times if our family does not want to learn, it's because they haven't seen you have the return or rewards from actually doing the thing. So I would take a percentage of my own money, put it away for them. Same with life insurance. Like you're doing life insurance for somebody else to benefit from. Take a percentage of the money from your business or your job, invest it for them for a 3 or 4 year period, give it to them. After that, they'll believe. Have them tune in to Market Mondays. And I know it's not the answer that you guys may want, but it's the one that works the best. People need to see fruits from the labor. They don't want to go out and plant a whole bunch of trees for themselves, especially if they're older. And at a time, whenever they planted those trees for themselves, a bank found a way to take them away.
Yeah. It's a tough proposition. 19 Keys said this to me once. He was like, the people closest to the sun are the ones who are mostly blinded by it. I was like, what you mean? He was like, well, the people who are closest to you, they'll take it for granted. And so like the best way to go about things is just lead by example and keep leading by demonstration. So I agree with what you're saying, Ian, is show them the results. Continuously show them the results. After a while, they'll believe in what you're doing, and it'll start to create more confidence in what they can potentially do because they've seen it done firsthand. But a lot of times the people around you are the ones who are like, oh, he's doing great. He's doing great and never taking the action. So it's a battle to have people build up their courage. Even if you put money in, I've done that before. I've put money in accounts and that money just sits there. And so it's just one of those things, man. You have to be patient with the process, and you have to be understanding that everybody's learning curve is different. And hopefully, if you keep leading by example and you keep leading by demonstration and you keep showing results, people will want the same for themselves.
Yeah, you got to just do it for them. I know it's not the easiest solution always, and you can give the money. I've given it to a family member. They've blown it.
Who's on the list of who you should do it for?
Mom, dad, grandma, great auntie, kid. Like if you my cousin,
you're like, when did we cut this off?
Tune in to Market Mondays, my boy. I appreciate you. See you at the family cookout that we're not gonna have. So I'm in Mexico. I'll chat GPT you some links. Start with the Mark Cuban episode. I got you. But yeah, not many. Shotty, who are you investing for? Keith Sweat. Nobody, ain't it? I feel you.
No.
Listen, hey, if we give you enough advice, it's crazy. Next year, like when we say go back and look at 5 years, next year, the starting point should be the show. You have no excuse. You have no excuse.
Saying shout out to everybody. You want to answer that?
Answer what?
He said, who would you trade for?
I mean, I invest for my son.
That's where it cuts off.
I don't know if that's what cuts off, but I mean that's what I've invested for. That's the only person I've invested for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was gonna say shout out to everybody who actually has executed on information, because I don't want to like look those people over, because that happens a lot. That happens a lot. People like, yo, we had that happen in LA about, look, that information, I used it, I made tons of money, I made a lot of money, changed my life. That happens all the time. So shout out to everybody that is executing it. But 5 years is a long time for you to miss the information and not execute.
He tweeting the leaders.
Tweeting the leaders.
So,
and we still here.
Well, we got a question from the audience. Somebody said, what would be your strategy for newly acquired wealth? I recently inherited $25 million and would love your insight.
A, congrats to you. B, I wouldn't tell anybody outside of 3 or 4 people. Please play broke. People are not going to have your best interests at heart. But I would take probably 10 to 15% of that, put it into long-term equities. hyper concentrate on 4 to 5 stocks: VOO, VTI, Apple, Microsoft are 4 of my favorites. And then I would take another 10 to 15 and find a way to get into private equity. If you can get into Starlink before it goes public, great. I don't know if OpenAI is still raising capital at this valuation. It may be too pricey, but I will find you 3 or 4 good investments on a private equity side and put some money there. And you need to build a great team around you, because I know 25 million is a lot, but a lot of people will find to get a lion's share of the money from you if you don't manage it correctly. So don't tell anybody. Lifestyle creep is going to be very hard to avoid, but stay away from that for the first 3 or 4 years so you can kind of play low key. And yeah, find you 4 investments on a public equity side you can invest in, and 4 on a private equity side, and you'll be good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the team actually be the first thing I would do. I would definitely hire, when you have that level of wealth, now you're in a different level.
Yeah.
And it's not advisable to try to do everything yourself. So definitely have an estate planning attorney to make sure that you have, a proper trust, a proper will, navigate different things. You want to have a really good tax CPA team in place to make sure that you're mitigating taxes and how to best shield yourself from that. That's important. Even on the wealth management side, even if you invest yourself, you still might want to have, a wealth management team that's looking over different things, giving input, giving you suggestions. I think that's important.
Is key. Yep.
Of course, you pay off debt if you have any debt, whether that's a mortgage that you have, or you try to stay out of debt. I think that's important. I would probably invest at least half of that money, assuming that if she didn't have to pay any, or he or she didn't have to pay any taxes on that, have they receive that money. But just hypothetically, if they just got 25 million, I would definitely put at least half of it into the market, into relatively safe investments, index funds, stuff like that. Because you don't necessarily have to take risk. If you have $10 million invested, if you gain 10% a year, that's $1 million. That's $1 million a year. So you don't want to be too risky with it, because that is an amount of money that you could actually lose. But you could lose it as well if you take too much risk. So I would definitely allocate at least half of the money into like safe investments, and then, like you said, from there it's a matter of just seeing how you can expand it. So yeah, angel investing, VC, is definitely would be beneficial for sure. You just want to be careful with that, because you can lose all of your money if you do it incorrectly. Real estate, I think, you start to think about the real estate play. You're probably going to buy yourself a new house. So, that's going to be a chunk of the money depending on what size house you want. But you can, if you're interested in real estate, that's another avenue that you can start investing in real estate. You can start partnering up and do different real estate developments, different things of that nature. So, and then of course, business. If you have an idea yourself, then you can, work to fund business that you're passionate about, that you think you can scale, or you can partner with other people that already have ideas and come in and provide some equity, some money for equity. So that's another more hands-on approach, as opposed to just being an angel investor. You can, be a potential business partner with somebody that has an existing business or somebody that has a business idea. So, but I think it's all rooted in just being safe. So at least 50% you got to be safe. You can't just, but after that, like I said, you got to invest money to make money. So, those are the ways to make money, really: real estate, stocks, businesses.
Yeah, you gotta have the capital work for you. VO gave 23% last year, but I'm begging you, be quiet about what you have.
Important.
It's a supply chain of people who want to take consultants, advisors, family. For now, you have more children to watch over your money.
But then also it's a thing of relationships too. So that's another thing. The money can actually give you more access to different places. Like we just interviewed somebody last week who's extremely wealthy, and he was just talking about all the companies that he invested in. It's all through relationships. He's a very well-known person, so he has a different way to get relationships. People know who he is, but that's another thing too, is use your money to get into relationships. So you get this money and you might want to buy a membership at a top country club, right? Or be intentional about the neighborhood that you move into.
Matters.
If your kids go to school, then you send them to a private school and go to the parent teachers meetings, like, stuff like that, like PTA, be part of the PTA. Like a lot of the wealth is going to come through the people that you know.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that already, then becoming wealthy can put you in different situation, but you have to be intentional about fostering relationships with people that can actually put you in positions to win. So yeah, that's important too. Money buys access a lot of times, and it's about how to position it intelligently so you can actually change your circle of influence and be around people that are already at a high level.
Yeah, and make sure you're at peace with yourself too. Don't go buying every retro J you couldn't afford as a kid, and that Caprice with 28. So I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, after your first year, you can't, like. Yeah. I remember you said that to me maybe like 15 years ago now about, what's the number? Get to 10 million and then invest in an index. Conservatively, if you made 3%, you've made 300,000. Yeah. You can't live off 300,000 when you made 115 most of your life. What are you doing? You did something wrong. But like you said, there's some years when it's 22%.
Yeah.
Right? Like you invest in an index, and now if you invested that 10 million, now you've made 2.2.
How the money work for you?
You see what I'm saying? Even and if you've had it as a long-term investment, now the capital gains tax is much less. So it's 20% as opposed to whatever, 30-something%. So there's ways.
But it really comes down to relationships.
That's true too.
That's the most important aspect of building wealth, I think, because everybody who is going to determine how much money you can get. There's a ceiling. You can have 25 million, move to Nebraska, and just invest in index funds.
What's up with you in Nebraska, yo?
Shout out to Terrence Crawford.
Shout out to Nebraska.
Shout out to Bud Crawford. But I'm just saying, you could just live in a rural area and you can still be wealthy, and that wealth will grow. The wealth will grow over the course of time. How you invest it, it definitely you'll if you live properly, you'll never have to worry about money ever again in the rest of your life. But if you really want to accelerate to
there we go.
Now it's your relationships are going to determine that. It's not so much unless you're just a complete wizard and you can just turn 20 million to 600 million from savvy investing, but most people are not that talented. They're not that talented. So it really comes down to your relationships. That's why all the rich people live in the same area for the most part. That's why so many rich people live in Miami. So many rich people live in LA. So many rich people live in New York. There's a lot of rich people that live in Texas, whether it's Dallas, Houston. It's not by accident. Yeah. It's proximity. They have commonality, but they go to lunch together. They go to dinner. They in the same country club. They play tennis together. They play squash together. And even somebody else that we met this weekend, had dinner with, and he was talking about the relationships that he had with different restaurant owners and stuff like that. He knew people for like 20 years, and they helped. It's all about relationships. It's all about relationships. Like, you got to put yourself in situations where money attracts money. It's like anything, right? Like, if you're around a bunch of broke people, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be broke. If you're around a bunch of rich people, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be rich. So that's just the harsh reality of life. The relationships that you cultivate is gonna mean more than anything else. And then they have to see value in you to keep their relationship meaningful. Yeah. But that's really like the trick. That's like the trick to life. If you can find a way to really get in those type circles and foster a relationship and add value, I mean, it's only a matter of time. Yeah,
your learning curve is expedited. When he was talking about the conversation about meeting people and networking people, he's like, his original goal was to make $60,000. 25 years ago. And after he did it, he got around people. He started making deals. He was like, he realized at one point, like, I know how to make money. I could do that any day. I can make money any day. Now it's like, what am I going to be remembered for? What's my legacy going to be?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a financial number anymore. It's like, these are the things that we're doing. How are we going to leave this earth? I'm like, that's a point to get to. It's like, making money is easy. Once you know how to make it, you'll always know how to make it.
But even in the Market Wizards book, if you look at some of the best traders, like in Japan, going back to that relationship point, it was like one piece of intel that they picked up from a person in a meeting, used that as arbitrage. Like all the Market Wizards, like they either work together, knew Marty, like it's a small little fraternity ecosystem. So like the idea of being a lone wolf, of you just being in your room, holding your life away, and then you're going to end up selling to Sequoia, like it does not happen like that. It does not happen like that. So continue to build. I think the relationship return on investment is something we haven't talked about enough. I think next year we may need to start to quantify, because that probably will give you your highest return on investment. And LaRusso, you hear Troy said Rashad gave him that advice 15 years ago.
Was it 15? Probably more than that.
Why would he say about that?
No, you know, same, Lil. I'm learning to respond to the responses.
Are they questioning his financial prowess?
I'm like, listen, if we can talk numbers, boy, y'all.
You're talking to his longest tenured client.
It's like, what?
Okay.